Hello, folks. I wanted to announce that for the day I'm starting my Glasgow accent workshops, where I'm going to teach you this fantastic accent step by step, because it needs to be done slowly, step by step, because Glasgow accent is not that easy to grasp at first. But don't you worry, I'm going to help you. First of all, I want to tell you about development, origins, and varieties of Glasgow accents. So this will be the day. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to focus on linguistic properties of Glasgow accent. So this video, I'm going to devote to development, origins, and varieties of Glasgow accent. So, and the more I'm going to tell you about Glasgow accent, linguistic properties of Glasgow accent. So that'll be next part this video. All right, sorry. So let's get started. So to tell you the truth, that very little emphasis has been put on Glasgow accents. No one, trust me, no one has been able to undertake a study of this accent till 1987, when in 1987 Jane Stuart Smith, a professor of the University of Glasgow, professor of phonetics and social linguistics, started to investigate the Glasgow accent, and she's been studying since moving to Glasgow, to Oxford, for nearly 20 years. So Jane Stuart Smith defined the Glasgow accent as a phonetically slack articulation, jaw protrusion, harsh phonation. And she also stated that the interesting thing about Glasgow accent is it's a bit like a treasure trove. It has a lot of quite exotic things going on with it. Thanks to Professor Stuart Smith, the Glasgow accent not only became the subject of serious academic studies, but also began to be regarded by many people as unusual, beautiful, rough and cool, distinctive, and noteworthy. So it's worth mentioning that Glasgow accent is spoken in the part of west of Scotland and the Hebrides Islands, Lothian regions. So I'm going to tell you about a wee bit about development of and origins of Glasgow accent. So let's start with Glasgow. So Glasgow is a fantastic city. So Glasgow is the largest city in Scotland. Was very industrial, and it was a robust scene of a Glaswegian identity, so which is explicated through its recognisable and unique accent, language, people, and the cultural customs. Accents commonly are changing, but Glasgow accent is changing in its own way. It has some very interesting sound changes, as the accent is quite conservative and this has a lot of what they say and its identity. So that's because the Glasgow accent, Glasgow is special when it comes to accent, because Glasgow has its own language called local lingo, or Glasgow Par, and it's very own slang. Glasgow accent is defined by many social linguists as Glasgow Par, as I mentioned, and Glaswegian. So to begin with, I should tell you that the Glasgow accent is strongly influenced by Highland English, spoken in the Highlands and the Hebrides Islands and the Scottish Gaelic, indigenous language of Scotland, Scots language, language of minorities spoken in some parts of Scotland, Irish English. It's worth mentioning that here I'd love to mention that in 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, Glasgow encountered major periods of immigration. It was a huge influx of settlers from Northern Ireland, as well as Eastern Europe and Italy. and these settlers and these immigrants and these countries just influence Glasgow accent. It's such a mix of different accents, different so I can tell you that the Glasgow accent is a bit of a different language to people, and it's like a mix of Scandinavian languages, some French features. The even it's a has Glasgow accent has intonation, pace. It's a linguistic term called Glasgow drawl. When I say about Glasgow drawl, I tell you about the intonation, pace, and pitch. So it has almost some similar features with German. So German has the very same intonation and pitch and voice now. To continue, Glasgow accent has been strongly influenced by those settlers, as I mentioned, who come to Glasgow for work during Industrial Revolution and settled down there. So, according to Professor Stuart Smith, as I mentioned about her, Glasgow was Scotland's melting point of immigration, and she also stated that Glaswegian accent is very extraordinary, and added that the original Welsh accent is very unique, is that in the sort of common in the social structures, the city of Glasgow. So the most curious fact about the Glasgow accent is that it's strongly associated with Scottish Gaelic and Scots language. Because I tell you that they know that Glasgow accent should be defined. Alright, it's okay if you say Glasgow accent, Glaswegian. It's great, but it should be called Glasgow dialect of Scots. Because it's dialect of Scots language. It shares many features with Scots language. So Glasgow dialect of Scots. So it should name it properly. Because of its similar phonological structure, lexicosemantic characteristics. To continue, the Glasgow accent shares, as I mentioned, many features such as lack of diphthongs, hard pronunciation of R, hard R, dropping G, and in the words, the harsh pronunciation of the intonation, also not a structural lexical forms Scottish Gaelic and Scots. Many words, and let me tell you that. Maybe you heard that in English that it's about, house, road, home, down, show, but not in Glasgow accent, because Glasgow accent doesn't use diphthongs. By this I mean, and these words are pronounced in the same way without diphthongs in Glasgow accent as in Scottish Gaelic and Scots language. And these words should be pronounced this way. About or about, house, house, down, moose, road, and show, home or hame. So furthermore, another curious thing about Glasgow accent is A sounds in place of O, so a similar way Scottish Gaelic and Scots language. Let me give you an example. So it's in words like, as you hear in English, we have it to, do, from, now, have, doing. And the sound O is replaced by A sounds. So to became te, do, they, from, fe, now, no, nay, have, and doing, being. So it's more a Glasgow accent as in Scots language. Sound yeah is replaced by E. So by this I mean English head became heat. In Glasgow accent, dead in English became deed in Glasgow accent. English read becomes read in Glasgow accent. So what's even more interesting, that is the way of pronouncing the sound and as O in words is understand, stand, hand, aye. So in English is understand, stand and the end, aye, and the in Glasgow accent to use you should properly is a understand, understand, stand, stone, hand, hun. So another curious, I'm mentioning that structural forms of Glasgow accent, so such as your, which is yours. Use, it's a plural forms. It's a plural for English you. It's you in Glasgow accent use. Yeah, it's you. Your, yours. Yourself, himself, myself. Wouldn't. In Glasgow accent is wouldn't, didn't, couldn't, can't, or isn't. So English is wouldn't, didn't, couldn't, can't, and it isn't. Aye. So are written and pronounced in the same way as Scottish Gaelic and Scots language. So in addition, words such as my, I, written ma, it's a bit. Does that stay in that? Now that I'm mentioning that Glasgow accent shares many words for expressions of Scots language. So in the also Glasgow par is very curious, but I'll tell you about it a little bit later. Some slang expressions. There's some examples of slang and expression words such as bro, good, lass, lassie, girl, lad, man, aye, yes, no, I didn't ken, I don't know, we, more, maybe, ne bother, clay, monkey, aye, clay, monkey, I did it there, as, or moke it, means dirty, ready means embarrassed, Stephen, it's the one word for being drunk, Lavy, toilet, go and do that, please don't do that, and the tomorrow, and the day, today, the night, tonight, the morning, you know, donor. It's a walk, offie, day, it's a pure bad day. A wee dram, if you say a wee dram, is a whiskey, but when you say a wee swally, wee bevy, it means a drink, any drink. Together, peace, mo, da, and o. So, what I tell you more is that I think that the Glasgow accent is very unique and unusual. It stands out because of the city itself and its people. People are proud of being Glaswegians and they are living in Glasgow and they put that and then go away. But against the odds, not always come back. So there's something about Glasgow that let me tell the truth. And just believe me. There's something about Glasgow, something special, and its lingo that make people happy and attracts many tourists now. And the slogan, people make Glasgow, speak by itself. To sum up, I want to tell you that the Glasgow accent has been changing over decades and I think its uniqueness and its most recognisable accent in Scotland. But Professor Stuart Smith, as I mentioned, proved that Glasgow accent is noteworthy and should be treated with respect. Let me just about the varieties of Glasgow accent because there's more attention to it. Let me start with this one. Many varieties of Glasgow accent can be found in Glasgow. In Glasgow, we can find 3 accents and 4 dialects, at least. Even University of Glasgow has its own accent. But 2 main accent and varieties of Glasgow accent are Glasgow Vernacular and Glasgow Standard English, which is divided into West Central and Middle Central. I should point here that in the Professor Jane Stuart Smith, defined Glasgow vernacular accent as stereotypical Glasgow voice with slack articulation, jaw protrusion, and harsh phonation. So Glasgow vernacular is used by people less educated, less intelligent. I shouldn't say less intelligent, but it's not right. But it's used by people less educated, as I mentioned, on the social margin. That's the 2 reasons. Glasgow vernacular is also prominent for its peculiar quality of the exaggerated pronunciation as in Raps Nesbit. Maybe you saw this series, Raps Nesbit. What is more, Glasgow vernacular is strongly associated with a working class Glaswegians. So an endorsement of the social scheme also is Glasgow vernacular is regarded by many people as rough, aggressive, and unfairly associated with the unwashed and violent. And it's upsetting to me because that people judge you. People judge Glaswegians, how they speak. Because of their people judge Glaswegians that because of their accent, because they are from Glasgow. It's you should just get rid of these I don't know how to say that, but you should get rid of this. That feeling that that you should judge Glaswegians, that it's not right. It's like being judged because how the way you speak, the way where you're from, and that it's not right, I think. So what's even more upsetting, as I mentioned, is the fact that people nowadays are prone to judge, as I mentioned, linguistically, those individuals who speak the Glasgow vernacular accent on the basis of stereotypical associations. In addition, Glaswegians let me tell you one situation now. Glaswegians who work abroad have a lot of problems. This because people judge them because of their accent. They think they're not intelligent, violent, aggressive, uneducated. It's not truth. But as the people for margin, people for social scheme, it's not right at all. So let me give you an example that Glaswegians working abroad have to struggle with social judgments. This is because of the accent, as I mentioned. Also are accused of being aggressive, presenting or training. Is that sentence, "You're for Glasgow," can be the reason of racism in the office. So that's unsettling phenomenon. To continue, I want to tell you that Glasgow vernacular is characterized by its harshness, creaky phonation, high intonation, nasalization, and sounds and protruded jaw. The harshness of Glasgow vernacular is defined as a pig whistle. It's a funny expression, this. The next variety of Glasgow accent is worth mentioning is Glasgow Standard English, or modern Glaswegian. So it is divided into Western, Middle, Central Glasgow Standard English, as characterized by the degrees of open jaw, racing back tongue, body creaky, voice tense, laryngeal tension. So it's like Glasgow accent is super shit here tense here. And in addition, it should be pointed out Glasgow Standard English or modern Glaswegian is less rough than Glasgow vernacular. So Glasgow Standard English varies when it comes to gender, age, and social class. For example, vowels and consonants are pronounced lighter in one case and stronger in the other. In one case, pitch is lower. So in Glasgow Standard English, pitch is lower, and in Glasgow vernacular, the pitch is higher. It should be pointed out that I should be pointed here that it's mean a greater nasalization, high intonation, and harsher pronunciation were found in male than female speakers. What's more, males, Glasgow voice is characterized by harder males. I should highlight this, that males Glasgow voice is characterized by harder pronunciation var sound, back articulation, so it's by articulation of vowels called back tongue body. They also pronounce words with more tension, while females Glasgow voice is subtle, not harsh, and also the articulation of vowels is less backed. Want to tell mer that it's the job protrusion, eller prunden, and the person if S sound and distinctive articulation of L sound in Glasgow Standard English. Its characteristics in males rather than female speakers. I should point here that T, Goalin, is similar for both males and females now. But it's not even more interesting is the fact that it's some keys now pronounced and other is omitted depending on a situation that Professor James Stuart Smith defined males Glasgow Standard English, similar to the Glasgow vernacular. It's because of its harsh pronunciation, creaky voice, and the back articulation of vowels, and also rough phonation of R. She also states that on the Glasgow voice of males as defined by many people as aggressive, violent, and rough. I should mention here that it's mer mycket curious in the fact that I read about one survey Professor Stuart Smith examined the Glasgow voice of one of the rappers and public speaker, Darren McGarvey. He's not only a famous speaker at the University of Glasgow, but also a rapper. Compared his accent to received pronunciation. The study shown that if RP speaker says a sentence, she is regarded by others as educated, intelligent, that has greater job opportunities now. If the Glaswegian accent speaker, the man for Glasgow, says exactly the same sentence, she is automatically regarded as filthy, aggressive, and educated. She or he is not hired. Sorry. And I think that people don't have to, or they shouldn't make social judgments unfairly on the basis of the accent. And the only way, I think, I should tell you, the only way to understand Glasgow accent is to immerse in its history and origins. And if you want to go even deeper, you should understand, go further. History of Glasgow itself. Glasgow, it was a culture, accent. If you want to know something, if you want to know Glasgow accent, understand Glasgow accent, Glasgow, go to its roots. So, as I mentioned, varieties of Glasgow accent differ depending on the part of the city, gender, social class, age, and you should be treated, Glaswegians should be treated with respect, I think, fairly, because we can't allow people to judge them because they are so friendly, so intelligent, so cheerful, so fantastic people, and the natural wit is in them, is the banter. So if you plus Glasgow makes Glaswegians. So let me tell you that Glasgow it's pure the brilliant city. It's fantastic, amazing, wonderful, with great history, industrial heritage, architectural heritage, and the great atmosphere, vibes, as mentioned, people as well. Pure friendly, man. Pure friendly. I'm telling you. And then the honors mysterious and the places to go into, like nip into, like, I mean, it doesn't matter that in Glasgow it's raining a lot. It doesn't matter, because you should just visit Glasgow to feel it. because I love this site. I can tell you a bit more on the Fabia tour guide. So that is a curiosity, by the way. But when I come back to the Glasgow accent, is that so trips tomorrow. I'm going to continue this part and telling you a wee bit about linguistic properties of Glasgow accent, lexicosemantic, phonological, and structural properties of Glasgow accent. So this part will be tomorrow, so stay tuned and see you tomorrow.